25th, 1986, afternoon in the city of Pripyat, Ukraine. About 50,000 people going about their day, just a normal Friday afternoon. None of them knew that by midnight everything would change. None of them knew what was coming tonight. 30 kilometers away at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, engineers were preparing to run a safety test. It had failed twice before. The test required the reactor to run at low power. But when the operator started shutting it down, the power dropped too fast. A byproduct called xenon 135 built up inside the core, poisoning the reaction. The reactor was stalling. At 1:23 a.m., the test began. With almost no control rods left to absorb neutrons, the reaction started speeding up. Water in the core turned to steam, and here was the killer flaw. The RBMK reactor used graphite to speed up reactions, not water, so when the water turned to steam, nothing slowed the neutrons down. The reaction ran wild. The control rods started sliding back into the core, but the rods had graphite tips. Graphite speeds up the reaction. For the first few seconds, the tips made everything worse. The power surged to 10 times the reactor's limit. The fuel rods shattered. Pressure built instantly. The entire building shook. Then the first blast tore through the reactor hall, blowing the 1,000-ton steel lid off. A second explosion followed seconds later, ripping the core completely open. Concrete shattered, steel twisted, flames shot hundreds of feet into the air, and radioactive debris began pouring into the night sky. Firefighters arrived within minutes. They wore cotton uniforms. They picked up glowing chunks of graphite with their bare hands. Nobody told them the truth. Many would be dead within weeks. The Soviet Union tried to hide the disaster, but when radiation detectors in Sweden picked up abnormal levels, the world found out. Moscow had to admit the truth. The Soviet government did not evacuate the city for 36 hours. When the buses finally came for evacuation, residents were told they would be gone for 3 days. They locked their doors and left. They never returned. To contain the fire burning in the exposed core, sand, boron, clay, and lead were dropped from helicopters onto the flames. The Soviets then tried clearing radioactive debris with remote-controlled robots, but the machines kept breaking down in the toxic environment. So groups of men were brought in to manually remove hundreds of tons of radioactive material from the roof and surrounding area. The damaged reactor was eventually covered with a concrete and steel structure. A larger containment arch was completed in 2019. The surrounding 30-kilometer zone remains largely uninhabited. Chernobyl changed everything. It cost billions, it poisoned millions, and it proved that one mistake, covered by one lie, can become a catastrophe.